Banging on wax, man. The gangsters, the new snitches, the gang bangers, the new snitches, man. Let's talk about it, man, because it's getting crazy in these YouTube streets out here, y'all. Let's talk about it. Oh man, welcome back to the Kingpin Chronicles. This is our urban post segment. We're gonna be discussing hot topics, man. All the stuff going on in the hip hop world, in the hood. These court cases and all kind of stuff, man. We're gonna touch on it, give our reactions, our opinions on some of this stuff. And man, make sure y'all like the channel, right? Or y'all like the videos. I'm sorry, subscribe to the channel, right? If you like the content, share it, man, and help us get this message out of, right, real crime, real consequences, and the real redemption that we see by sharing our stories and hoping that one of these young fellas out here, man, will realize that we made the mistakes, we done been there, we done done that, and we're gonna provide the right steps you need to be taking to either avoid the streets and all the way around, right? Or find your way out of the streets and learn to point that hustler mentality into a direction to where that you can still make the type of money that you like to make, right? Because we know we like chewing, we like eating money, we like not the nicer things in life, right? But you can attain those things, right, by positive means, right? By working, small business, you know what I'm saying? Entrepreneurship, products and services, right? And we all got something that we can do or that we can make that will fix a problem in people's lives, right? And when we're able to fix problems in people's lives, they don't have a problem bringing the money to us, right? But today, we back on the scene, man. It's been a while, I had a little technical difficulty and plans just didn't go as we looked for it to go in the beginning when we first got this thing started. But we're about to come with it, man. We're gonna keep it consistent and just bring that information, man, and our reactions and opinions to some of the stuff that's going on in the world today, man. And that's getting a lot of traction, man. So, with that said, right, the opening subject, right? I've been paying attention to a lot of these things, man. Scrolling through these YouTube streets, checking out what's going on, man. And we're getting a lot of action from the West Coast and from just gang culture in particular, right? And we've seen this culture sweep over our culture, right? Mainly, even though it's not specific to us, it's sweeping over our culture because we're starting to see these gangs being taken on in areas where they wasn't taken on before, right? I'm from Florida, Tampa Bay area. I'm from a little town right outside of Tampa, St. Pete, and we kind of known for doing what we do, we national, I reach them in every way, as far as me anyway, I know for sure, and I know I was able to reach because people already had reached. So, you know, we one of the towns that's a long ways away from where this type of culture became a way of life for the youngsters, but it's slowly but surely trickling its way down to us. And it's a brilliant plan used by the people that's looking to oppress us, right, and keep us down by making sure that this type of a mentality, which is really like a crab in a barrel mentality, right, spread and it find out its way amongst the youth, right, and minority cultures and neighborhoods, right, and it affect us by with the drugs, with the violence, with the self hate, and we're just not being able to coexist, right, peacefully and prosperously, right? We aren't able to prosper from each other's existence, right? Whether it be gang banging or neighborhood claim, whatever it is, right? But um, gang banging has become a poison in our culture, right? And it's really showing itself and showing how nonsensical it is, right? I'm from an area or a place where we never really had no gang banging activity. You know, we might have had our neighborhoods. You know, I'm from Jordan Park, right? Jordan Park is projects in St. Pete. It's the biggest project in St. Pete, and we probably was the less fortunate out of everybody in the city. Because St. Pete ain't but so big, but you know, we got Cross 34th, or we call Cross 34th, or Child's Park. We got 9th Street, and we got Harvard there, and we got the North Side, right? So we don't got no gangs in Florida. Well, we not known for having gangs in Florida, but in my honest opinion, through the prison system, gang culture is growing and spreading amongst our youth, you know, and people that's in and out of that prison system. So they going into prison, right? And they joining gangs for whatever reasons may be. You know, I'm not gonna cast my opinions on why people join gangs, but whatever reasons, dudes going to prison and they're going into prison and becoming members of gangs, right? You got Bloods, you got Crips, you got all these different known gangs, you know, and I ain't putting no one above the other because I'm not a banger, right? I ain't into banging, but I never really saw no sense in gang banging. And it's not something that I'm completely unaware of or ain't been around or don't know the inner workings of because uh, as I mentioned before on the channel, I actually got close family members that was raised in California, you know, in LA, and you know, they was raised up in the gang banging culture. When they would come back and visit home, and then when they got older, and you know, we started making it do what it do, just having them Cali connections. Um, they brought their gang bang culture with them. And, you know, for the ones of them that came from Cali, Arkansas, Texas, Mississippi, you know, they all was banging the same thing, but they had a hierarchy set up, right? Where you got the little homie, the big homie, the baby lokes, the tiny lokes, all these different levels in the hierarchy, right? And it just didn't make sense to me some of the things that I saw them have to do and the way that this operated throughout the hierarchy because it seemed to me as if the older guys, you know, was crash dummy and the younger guys, you know, and it just didn't make sense. But what's making it make even less sense now was uh, further, in my opinion, that gang banging just ain't the way it, man. The way it's being represented in these YouTube streets, man. You got so many different channels that's representing their respective gangs. And respect all y'all that's banging, man. You know, I know it's y'all way of life and the way y'all was raised, but you know, y'all just making and letting the world see how really useless, right? And how much of a dead end street gang banging is because what it shows is that ain't no loyalty and ain't no love in these streets, man. It don't matter whether y'all claim the same hood, claim the same gang, claim any of that. It's always gonna be the same thing, right? Betrayal, violence, drugs, you know what I'm saying? And just poor decision making, right? Because these gangs ain't out there pushing unity or pushing small business or entrepreneurship or education. Man, they pushing destruction, violence, drug use, and just really to me stupidity, man. Some of these dudes, man, look silly on here, man, and they make the places that they from look bad to the world with people not living like that. Y'all need to understand that for the most part, we're not living like that uh, in these countries. You know what I'm saying? You got small populations that's living like that. I really look at them as like wannabes, especially in these ages where you didn't see what happened with all of these people that's supposed to be these cliques and these gangs and these groups and all this. I ain't messing with nobody outside my circle. Man, listen, the only people I ever seen do their people bad, right, was people inside their circle. You can't do me no harm if I'm not affiliated with or got no ties to you really. You know, we can be cool. I got my homeboys that I grew up with and people that I know and I love, right? But what I do is what I do, and what they do is what they do, right? I'm not, ain't no street or no neighborhood gonna tie me, right, or make me feel like I'm obligated to act in no way according to this clique, gang, neighborhood, street, whatever it may be, because at the end of the day, it ain't yours. It ain't yours. You got brothers out here and everybody out here dying over streets, over colors, over stupid. It don't make sense. It just don't make sense. And these shows or podcasts, whatever you want to call them, you know what I'm talking about, man. I ain't got to call them. Just look at my description, and we hashtag them and we tag them, you know, because we trying to get in the groove, find out where in the algorithm, but we ain't into supporting that. You know, we've been watching it and feeding it and just but it's madness, man. And at some point it got to stop. And I understand that we're the only ones that can stop. We're the only ones that can bring this change, right? And these channels pushing this madness, uh, uh threatening and talking about and putting all of their business, right, in these YouTube streets, right? And incriminating themselves, their neighborhood, their street, they clique, their homeboys. You're incriminating everybody, man. Y'all talking about stuff that's active and going on and threatening each other and having all these different beefs and all that. It's madness, man. And all you see happening and all you're gonna see happening is RICO indictment after RICO indictment after RICO indictment, because y'all opening up the doors, right? Through your music, through your content you creating, you incriminate yourself and your homeboys. You know, y'all want to live by the gun, die by the gun, but when them folks get their hands on you, you ain't so tough no more. You ain't so tough no more. And everybody claim to be this solid, or I ain't telling I'm a gangster. If that was the case, man, nobody would be in prison. Nobody wouldn't be in prison because the police ain't never got nothing without a witness. They can't get a conviction without a witness. Y'all making it easy. Look at Big U. You know, he in there for a bunch of other dudes on there, hating whatever it was, but speaking on criminal activity that really went on in the streets. You know, it's victims to this stuff. So it's gonna be people to come get on that stand, right? And then you put your homeboys in a position to where that they ain't had nothing to do with what's going on, but because y'all affiliated, right? And they committing crimes, you committing crimes, they gonna charge y'all with each other crimes. And now one crime might not be as heavy as the other, so they use him in a plea deal, right? Like what's the battle? Sue Surf, right? Everybody taking up for him and making like he didn't snitch. Yeah, he snitched. He didn't get on the stand and snitch because his co-defendants played out. But if they had gone to trial, he was gonna get on that stand. And that's what happened. That's what being in a gang do, right? My mom was the first gangster I met, man. And one of the first things she taught me and she put in my mind always, she said, son, listen, if you're going to be a criminal, you're going to be out there committing crime, doing by yourself, man, you ain't going to tell on you. You ain't going to tell on you. But the first friend you do anything with, pause as y'all be doing. But you do anything illegal in these streets, you want to be out there gang bang, you want to be out there breaking the laws, you want to be out there being violent. Them same dudes you doing it with gonna be the ones to bring you down. Every time. Every time. Everybody in the homeboy did it to him. Everybody in the grave, somebody they trusted backdoored them or did it to them. This stuff don't happen to strangers. Strangers don't do this to strangers. Your homeboys, what they say, your brothers, your brothers, your bros do it to you. I'm fine, man. Just like we ain't breaking no laws. I got prescription, man. Told me 3 times a day, man. 3 times a day. I got PSD from numerous incarcerations and time in confinement. So I was able to, they say I got PSTD, man, post traumatic stress disorder, PTSD. All right, but I got it, and I had to keep it right, man. I had to keep it right, but yeah, it's crazy, man. How gang banging seem to be spreading, even though it don't make sense. So what do that mean? Do that mean we less intelligent? Or do it mean gangbanging always existed? It just didn't exist in the way that it exists today. I think it's the latter because my OGs and what I'm speaking when I'm talking about an OG, I'm talking about somebody that's more than likely dead and gone by now. Or you know what I'm saying? Or they almost there. Because all my OGs was old men when I jumped off the porch. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody my age or close that I consider an OG. The OGs that I had, they done mostly passed away, man. There's a couple of them still around, but OG means something different to me, right? And it don't got to do with being no criminal, right? Because my mom, right, is an OG to me, right? My mom, the first gangster that I met, that's how funny, but mom was the first gangster that I met, So that's the OG to me. I don't look up to dudes just because they older than me and they from my neighborhood or they might be from my area or they might be an older dude that just got a following or a knowing that don't qualify you to be an OG to me. Be an OG to me, I gotta be done learn something from you. I gotta be done took some kind of advice or better myself, right, from something that you either gave or taught me. So it's hard for dudes to be considered an OG to me. I don't just look up. I ain't a cheerleader. I ain't no bandwagon follower. It might benefit me in some ways, and it might hurt me in a lot of ways. But it worked best for me, so that's how I've always been. But I speak to a lot of these old people, man, especially when I was working or had a machine shop. I was in the racing and stuff. I used to hang with a lot of older dudes that was in the racing. And they'll tell you when they was coming up, it was gangs around. They had little Third Avenue Maniacs and St. Pete. We had little gangs, and we going back to the 60s and the 70s. So at the same time this was going on in California, this was going on all over the state, all over the world, really, because gang don't mean nothing but a group of people clicked up or grouped up, right, with a bad motive, really, because there ain't no positive gangs. There ain't no positivity to gang bang. Right? Earlier gangs would be like the Dillinger gang and all that, And then they were calling the Black Hand or the Mafia and Sister and Italy. They would call it gang. So gang banging didn't start in California. Gang banging got turned into something different in California, right? It got turned into something different in California, and I would say that drugs played a big role in that, the same as it do today, right? Because most of this stuff is tied into drug trafficking and dealing and usage and the violence and the crime that come from that. See, back then it was just okay. This was our street, and ain't nobody finna come over here with that nonsense. We're gonna protect our street. So it might be Jordan Park against Child's Park when we was little. Well, we meeting up at Wildwood Park or Child's Park, and we coming from the shoulders with it. We ain't clearing it out. We ain't got switches. We ain't know nothing about no choppers and all that. You was the shit if you had a little 22, man, a little 32, 38, man. You was him. You was him. We ain't had no choppers. Wasn't none of that. We was coming from here with it. Right? And that's what gangs was about. Gangs was about protecting your hood, protecting your homeboys so ain't nobody gonna bully your homeboys. Nah, we together. If you gonna bully him, you gotta bully me. Right? This type of thing. It wasn't no, okay, over territory, y'all over there, y'all on the next street, y'all taking all the money because y'all got better YOLO. or your boy holding on a little longer. We ain't finna come over and go to war with y'all to shut it down. Now we gonna step our game up and get our work right. We gonna get our work right, But it seemed to be some of the silliest things. I see these dudes arguing over one gang in one state, another gang in another state, and they arguing over whether somebody could use the name or not. Man, get out of here, man. How you gonna control? We don't even know y'all. Yeah, we call ourselves the same thing, but it's 10 Blue Jays teams, You got the Toronto Blue Jays, the with the Coochie Blue Jays. There's a lot of teams that call themselves the Blue Jays, and wear blue, right? But that don't mean because we play by these rules, you got to play by them too. None of the game culture makes sense, right? And that's why you see out of something that don't make sense, you're not gonna get nothing that makes sense. So the product that they putting out here, right? You got the no jumper team where they exploiting all of this. He over there getting rich off of these dudes tricking their own selves and their homeboys off the street. So now I don't see no credibility in no gangbanger that's on YouTube. If you're a gangbanger and you on YouTube throwing up your gang signs and all repping and all this and incriminating yourself, you're a damn fool to me. You're a damn fool to me. You ain't no gangster. You ain't no gangster because gangsters don't move like that. Gangsters don't move like that. Gangsters ain't putting their every move out there and on this. Like, for me, for instance, right, I started this week, Kingpin Chronicles, right? And we about real crime that went on in the streets, the real consequences we suffered from committing those crimes and getting caught, right? Right? Or being a victim of crime, right? And consequences too, right? But more importantly, the redemption, right? The most important part of my story is that I was wise enough, right, to see so many of the pins falling around me on the bowling alley. So I said, I'm gonna get out of here. I don't let them strike out. Ain't no way I'm gonna let them get us all. So I got out of the game. I left it alone. I kept the mentality, right? I kept the hustler mentality, right? I just left the crime mentality alone. The criminal mentality or aspect of everything I was doing. You know what I'm saying? So that's the more important part of my story. That's why I put this together so that everybody can know, man, you could be whatever you was. You could be a dope boy. I done did it all, man, in the streets. When it come down to the streets, I done did it all. I done did it all, right? But I'm not finna get on here and confess. I might talk about and tell some stories, right? At the end of the day, all of the crimes I committed, statute of limitations up on it. Because the maximum on the statute of limitations of any crime I ever committed was 5 years. Because I never was a violent criminal. I defended myself, and I made papers a couple times for defending myself, and a couple times I ain't made the paper for defending myself when I defended myself. But I never was a violent criminal, and I never liked violence because I knew violence brought heat. And I knew you couldn't make no money if you was violent, right? So now when I'm watching these gang bangers and all these dudes, and all they got to lead with is violence, drugs, and money, y'all ain't got nothing that's going to sustain itself. Because everything you're doing to keep what you're doing going is destructive. Drug dealing, destructive. Violence, destructive. You see what I'm saying? It's all destruction. Right? We perpetuating this on ourselves, man. And the only way we ever gonna get out of this is for us to change it, for us to realize and stop supporting this stuff. Stop supporting this madness, man. Ain't no way they should be getting, and I ain't knocking nobody for what they do, man. I ain't biting nobody else, man. Get money, get you some money, man. All I'm saying is, man, find a way to do it without poisoning the mind of people, man. Or promoting that madness, man. Y'all live how y'all want to live in y'all neighborhoods and wherever y'all live. But don't put this out here to make some kids somewhere else think that this the way. Because all it's gonna lead to is, or all it's gonna assist in is they got prisons being built right now. Construction live right now. 3 hots in a cot for them, man. They're going after our youth, man. They're going after our youth, and it's the young males. So if we ain't got no young men out here, how are we gonna keep babies coming? Keep us going. And the ones that's out here creating babies but going, throwing their lives away, going giving 15, 20 life sentences. Right? Who's gonna raise them kids? Oh, the gang. And keep the cycle going. No, we gotta be the ones to break ourselves up out of this, man. We gotta be the ones to step up and say, okay, we're gonna be our gang, we're gonna represent our hood, right? But we're gonna be the ones to clean it up. We're gonna be the ones to get these drugs out of our neighborhoods. We're gonna be the ones to make sure we support the businesses in our neighborhood, right? And we're gonna hold them businesses accountable too now. Because if we supporting y'all and we making sure y'all straight, y'all got to give back to us in some kind of way. Some kind of way, whether it's Christmas or when school starts, y'all give our book bags and school materials. You know, that's how we handle that. We don't got to worry about how they feel about us, because it don't matter. It's what you got for us. What you got for us, right? But yeah, that's about it, man. I went a little longer than I wanted to go, but I'm glad to be back, man. We're gonna make some changes to this thing, man. We not depending on no interviews from nobody. We not none of that, because all of that just bring forth a bunch of mess. So we changing the direction of this channel. We're gonna be the Urban Pulse, which is the feeling, the vibration, what's going on in the urban culture, man. And is it hurting us or is it helping us, right? Y'all make sure y'all like this video, share it, man, so we can get this message out there, man. And especially with these gang banging YouTube superstars, man, get this to them, man, and let them know, man, look, man, that ain't the way, man. Our youth deserve better, man. Our youth deserve better, man. And if we don't give it to them, how can we expect anybody else, man? Y'all make sure y'all like, share, and subscribe. Check out our online shop, man. We got all kind of trainings and digital products to assist you, right? To assist you in elevating your mind, man, and giving you another way, right? Another hustle, right? That if you put your mind to it and use that same hustle mentality, you will be able to find a way to provide the lifestyle and the means for you, your family, and your loved ones. That's it. Kingpin Chronicles, the Urban Pulse. We back. Make sure you turn on your notifications so you'll receive all of the fire content that we'll be coming with, and our reactions and opinions on what's going on in the culture. I'm out. It's your boy DP.